When you score a top ranking in Google, it can send you tens of millions of visitors and generate millions of dollars in profit for your business. And I would know, I've driven hundreds of millions of clicks to my websites over the years. And when I score a top Google ranking for the right keyword, it rains profit all around. And if you want to rank your website on Google's first page, now is probably the best chance you're going to get, because there was just a massive leak that came directly from Google, actually a mistake on Google's behalf. They released their entire documentation about how their ranking systems work. And this leak in Google, they accidentally revealed over 14,000 different factors that determine how Google will rank your content. Now, before this leak, it was basically just a big guessing game. Figuring out how to rank on Google often felt like trying to just fumble around in the dark, trying to find something with no flashlight, right? You could feel your way around and see the furniture, but knowing precisely where to go was sometimes tough. Now, Google never outright revealed how to rank your website on the first page. In fact, they tried to hide it. Now, the community at large would do testing, and guys like me would do tests with our websites, publish the results, and give advice about what was working for them. And then we all as a team would try to figure out through trial and error, and then Google did their best to reveal as little as possible. Now, there were many rumors and many, I should use air quotes, conspiracy theories that have been now absolutely proven correct, including some of the methods that I've been teaching my students for years to get traffic that Google has flat out denied. They said what I was saying was false and fake and untrue, and now we know the truth. Hopefully, after I share the most important parts of this leak with you in this video, we're going to be able to rank higher in Google, and it will no longer be a mystery. So if you would like to learn what are the actionable bits of information that you can go out and take action today that will help you rank in Google by exploiting what we have learned from this Google leak, then stick around. Let's get into it. So you can see here on the site SparkToro, an anonymous source shared thousands of leaked Google search API documents with me. Everyone in SEO should see them. And this goes into the story. I will link to this blog post in the description of the video so you can read it for yourself. And this goes over the story about the person who leaked this document and who got it out into the public and why they believe it's true. It's not fake, it's not old, it's current, new information. And it appears to be 100% accurate, okay? And he goes into this is all about the leak, and he goes into great detail about it. So that's this blog post here, okay? And we're gonna dive in on a couple things that are vitally important about what is actionable about this. And there's another analysis of the document that I will link to as well. This is a Google Doc that goes into great detail about all the different stuff. A little bit of it is technical. Some of it might be a little bit hard to follow, and it is their documentation for their technical team. So again, some of it might be a bit challenging for those who are not technical, but I'm going to break it all down for you in this video. Then finally, one other thing I want to show you is iPullRank has a great blog post that also goes into much more detail about what they have found, okay? And that's pretty crazy here. 14,000 different ranking features, they call them, spread out across 25, almost 2,600 different modules inside Google. And so what I want to do is I always want to break down and go through a few of them. And there's one thing in particular that I want to focus on. And this is probably the biggest one that Google has denied. Google has, it's almost like a funny smoke and mirrors situation, where they want the world to think that the way they rank is all from algorithms and all automatic using math, okay? And that is just not true. It is part of their ranking. It's a core part of how their systems work, but a lot of really what determines what ranks at the top is manual. It is by human behavior, and manual reviewers are the two Huge factors, okay? Don't get me wrong. Things like links and other things like that are vitally important. And a lot of what you've learned with traditional like search engine optimization tactics are important. But the thing to really take away here is that Google is using things like the Google Chrome browser. So think about this for a moment. If you use the Google Chrome browser, Google knows everything you do. They've been busted. In fact, the government has busted them even in a private browser. When you go incognito mode, they've been busted even capturing data about those users, right? So why would they do that? If I wanted to determine if a web page was good or not, wouldn't that be the ultimate determination? Is what do the users actually do when they go to that web page, right? Do they browse the whole web page? Do they stop? Do they click? Also, what about search engine spam? So there are billions of pages created and links, right? We all know that links are like the holy grail that all of the people are chasing to get as many links pointing at your website so you can get search rankings from Google. But wouldn't one really easy way to tell if a link was good or not was if anybody was clicking on it? And if you had billions of people and all of their click data on every link they've ever clicked on, wouldn't it be very easy for you to tell if it was a spam link or not if nobody ever clicked on it? So if you go and buy a link from a blog post or a press release or any kind of paid linking, and that link is on a page that's just buried on a website and no human ever actually clicks on it, do you think Google is really going to rank your site? Absolutely not. So Google not only is using the behavior that they see in the Google Chrome browser to tell what people do when they get to your pages. They know if your pages are fulfilling to those users. They know it. They have X-ray vision to watch while people engage and interact with your website. So they know when someone goes to the Google search engine and they say, I want to learn how to train my Chihuahua to stop barking. And they type that search in, and if your site comes up, they click your site, they know if your page actually fulfills that search intent. Not because of the words that are used on the page, not even because of the links. The main thing they know is because of user behavior. And when the users get to your site, if they immediately bounce back and go to a different site, Google knows that, right? They know if they go even if they don't bounce back to the Google search engine. Let's say you search Google and you're in the Google Chrome browser and you go to you click on Joe's dog training and you go to his page and you don't see what you want, but then you go over to Reddit and you search over there and you go to a third site and you search over there and then you finally find what you're looking for. Even though you're not doing it on Google, sees all. So they can tell that Joe's dog training site didn't fulfill your search intent. They didn't get you what you were looking for, but the final one at the end of that trail did. So they know that. And again, also, when they're trying to figure out spam, if people are putting out like people do use AI to put out garbage AI content that is just not useful, does not serve the search intent, does not help the user. And there was this huge conspiracy that Google was smacking all of the AI content on the web. Just not true. The thing is, they knew from user behavior what's helpful and what's not. That's their entire helpful content update. And when they can't figure it out based on the behavior that they're measuring from the Google Chrome browser, they know it because they have an army, a massive army of real humans, not AI, but real humans that do quality rating. So if there's a page that's getting a good amount of traffic and Google's not sure of the quality, right? They're not getting enough signals really to tell if it's a quality site or not. They send a real human to go look at it and score it. In fact, that was another document leak that happened a couple of years ago, is the Human Quality Rater Guidelines. You can go look it up and read it. You can read the Human Quality Rater Guidelines and what they're looking for. And so this is where you hear people talk about EAT, E-A-T, and these are all the factors that go into ranking. So these are things like authority, trust, and trying to see whether you're a topic authority on the topic. And a lot of what is in that is from their human quality raters. Right? That's also now becoming really plain from this leak, okay? Now, I understand Google would not want to admit publicly that they're spying on all of their users, right? It's not a good look. And I know the media is going to spin this into, oh, look, Google's spying on you, right? But they give you a free browser and all these free tools. And why would they do that, right? So this is now why. And now in the past, when I've talked about this, people said I was a conspiracy theorist, and it's not true. And Google denied it. They flat out said it's not true. And we now know that I was right. So what I advise, what you can do about this, especially if you're a newer site, is you need to get visitors to your site. Even if you're getting links, you're publishing blog posts, and even if you're using an AI blogging tool like ours, like you can use PushButton AI and we will blog on your sites and help you get traffic. But the thing that you can do to jumpstart this process is, number one, make sure the content is actually helpful. Make sure the content that's being published is useful and solves the search intent of the keywords that you're targeting. You really have to get that right. There's just no way around it. Then you want to make sure you get human visitors to your site. How do you do that? If you can't get Google to rank you, try Twitter. Put out some Facebook posts. Use other strategies. Google is not the only strategy in the world to get traffic. In fact, what I advise is that you publish the post on your blog and then distribute it all throughout social media. I even go so far as to put paid advertising on my content. So I'll spend a couple of bucks a day advertising my content. Why? Why would I do that? Because now I'm sending signals to Google that real humans are clicking from Facebook. They're going to our website, they're browsing around, they're clicking links, and they are winning. They're getting the information they want, they're getting a good experience. And now Google goes, oh, look at this. Here's a cool page. The users are going to it. They're liking it. It's getting shared in social media. It looks like it's getting a little bit of getting some likes, getting some reshares. Let's rank it. And there you go. You're off. Now, the other factor that Google hasn't talked about that they've been hiding, there's a few other things. First, links are still important. They're still very important. And that's a dominant thing in their search algorithm. But links that don't get human clicks are a total waste of time. Just don't even bother with link tactics. So if you're going to get a link and no real human is going to be clicking that link and coming to your site, it's just not worth doing. So if you can get links pointing to your site on actual busy sites that have traffic that are going to get real clicks, okay, now that actually has weight. Google will score that well, and it will help pass that rank to you. Now, the best type of rank is the domain authority of your website, which is also denied by Google. Google flat out said there is no such thing as domain authority. Everybody in the SEO community knew that was a lie, and now it's proven true. It's in the documentation, it's in the leak. So your domain name has authority that comes with it. And that authority is established largely from how many links it's getting, especially to your home page. Now, if you get a bunch of garbage links that no real humans are clicking, pointing to your home page, it's not going to help you. But if you get high quality links where real people are clicking on them, you know, whether it's a blog post somebody made talking about your business with a link pointing back to you, or something you put in social media or wherever, but if real humans are going through a click stream through that link to your website, Google will value that more highly, and it will help you get authority. The more popular the sites are that you're getting links from, the better. And it is good to point these links to your homepage. So we now know from Google's documents, that is really, if you're looking at what a lot of people talk about as domain authority, it's largely from how many links are pointing to your homepage, okay? Now, another human behavior tip that I want to tell you about is search behavior, okay? The secondary behavior after somebody searches on Google is important. So it's important when someone searches on Google, they track, do people click on your search page first, number one. So if Google gives you a shot and they list you in the search engines, if none of their users are clicking on your link because it's not appealing for some reason, they drop you. They're going to drop you right out of the searches. So your links that when they show up in Google need to be appealing so that someone will want to click it when they see it showing up in the search engine, okay? That is largely determined by the title of your page. So if you've got a title that is not user-friendly, it's not compelling, it doesn't make people want to click, that's the first thing that happens is when Google sees no one's clicking, out you go. They're going to drop you right out of the search. So now somebody clicks and they go to your website. What happens? What is the downstream behavior from that? How long do they stay on your page? Do they scroll very far? Do they go deeper into your website? And do they get signals that that user found what they were looking for? Okay, that's important. Another interesting thing that could happen is, let's say I'm thinking about a particular brand that I want. And I don't know, we'll go back up to my fake example of Joe's Dog Training Academy. Okay, so let's say that I'm thinking about Joe's Dog Training Academy and I go to Google and I type in dog training in Lake Forest near me. And I don't see Joe's link. And I don't really get what I'm looking for. And then I go and I change my search query and I type in Joe's Dog Training Academy and I search again. And then I go to Joe's site and I get what I'm looking for. Google will tie those two independent searches. It'll tie them together and it'll realize that, oh, look, Joe's Dog Training Academy is related to dog training near me or dog training in Lake Forest. It will connect those two things and then rank Joe's site for the generic search term. That makes sense? Now, these are just some examples of this, but it's really important at this day and age to realize that a lot of, and I understand, right? This was a fantastic way for Google to just eliminate a bunch of spam just by watching what the humans do, okay? And it's time for us as entrepreneurs to realize that there is no, like, these short-term tricks just won't work in today's environment, right? If I can go out and I can spend a bunch of money and buy a bunch of links to temporarily boost my site. But if nobody is clicking those links, and if the few people who do click them come to my website and have a bad experience, I'm never going to get long-term rankings from Google. It's just not going to happen. So what can we do about this? It is to focus on things where we can get real live humans to our site to show Google that our site is worth ranking. That is the single biggest takeaway. And my strategy that we actually covered on the channel, a strategy on how to do this, on how to actually create content using AI, by the way, that is awesome, that your users will find helpful. And then what do you do to get traffic using that strategy? So I'm going to put a link down in the description to that training. It'll walk you through how to do it so that you can take advantage of this new information that we have leaked. And we now know that human behavior and using the strategies that I've been teaching will score you top rankings in Google. And the final little bit of fake news I want to cover is the idea of the sandbox. You ever heard of the Google sandbox? And that's the idea that a new domain, or even new pages to some extent, but mostly new domains, were thrown into a sandbox and not allowed to rank. Turns out that's true. Google denied it. For years, Google has said there is no sandbox. There is. It is absolutely a thing. It's in their documentation. And it's hard to tell precisely, but it seems like it might be about anywhere from 30 to maybe 90 days of this new sandbox period. For those of you who are starting brand new websites, how do you bust through? The documentation is clear. You get real humans to your website. That is how you do that. The other factor, one last thing I'll talk about, is Google pays a lot of attention to brand searches, the name of your business or the name of your website. And if you get a lot of brand searches on a brand new domain name, so let's say you launch a domain, let's say Joe's Dog Academy. I'll go back to that, right? So we just set up Joe's Dog Academy. I registered joesdogacademy.com, and I want to get traffic to my dog academy. I want to train lots of dogs, okay? Immediately, I'm going to be thrown in the sandbox, and Google's not going to trust me. But if I get enough users coming to my website and browsing around that Google can see, that'll help. But what can help even more is if those users go to Google and they type Joe's Dog Academy in Google looking for me and hit search. Guess what? Out of the sandbox you go and you can rank, okay? So I'm not going to tell you how to use that. Okay, and you don't want to abuse it, right? You don't want to be going out and doing hundreds of searches like that. And I'm not going to give you any black hat advice on how to use that data. But there you go. If Google sees that you get real users to your website and real users are doing searches in Google for your website domain name, for your brand name, it will pop you out of the sandbox and you can get rankings. So there we go. That's the last little tidbit. I'm going to be talking a lot more on the channel about this leak. There's 14,000 different items to go through. So there's more revelations that will be coming from this. And I'm going to have some very specific, tactical, actionable instructions that I'm going to be releasing on the channel. So if you haven't yet, subscribe. You'll see that red subscription link down below. Give it a tap. Make sure you tap the bell icon and tell YouTube that you want notifications from our channel. YouTube is famous for you to subscribe to a channel and then they don't notify you when they put out content. And we're going to be releasing a lot more training on how to get traffic to your websites, especially brand new sites. If you've just created a website for the first time, there are some very unique and different things you need to do with a brand new site that for an old established site don't really matter. So we're going to be releasing training on how to rank a new site in today's Google using all of the new information that we have released. So again, subscribe to the channel. And if you got value today, tap that like button down below, and we'll be linking to all the resources and the story down below in the description. And by the way, what would you like to learn about Google? Any questions you have about search engine optimization, drop them in the chat. You'll see down below or in the comments. Drop a comment down there. I'll be checking in and following the comments. Let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like to learn about this leak or about how to rank on Google. I'll engage with you in the chat, and then we may take that up in one of our next videos. So on that note, we shall see you next time. Bye for now.